Who is it?
James Tate.
Who?
James Tate.
Come in. The next time when you say it with your chest.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President Pro Tem, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, brother. Thank you for having me.
Man, hey, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Greatly appreciate it. Anytime have someone such as you, as your status and stature within the community, is always a blessing. Let's not have a history moment, but a reflection moment. Me and you like go back.
Way back. Way back. I think I was about 40 pounds heavier. I was saying earlier. You might have had hair back then.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Right,
360.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But you weren't supposed to say that. But
I thought that's how far back we
yeah,
go.
we do.
All right.
We do. And you and this is not a trick question. I thought about this, and you are in a pivotal position, and you are looked at as a leadership because you are a leader. So you introduced me to this thing. I think it was called Man's Manor. It was every other Saturday, and it was a black man gathered, and we had a great breakfast, and we got a great encouraging word, and inspired us to be better, and inspired us to do more and want more. And you have done all those things. This particular individual that we was there supporting now got different endeavors.
Yeah.
And so, what's your thoughts on that?
So you talk about my pastor. I'm proud of him, Solomon Kinlock Jr. Looking at the evolution of his ministry. I've been a member of Triumph since 2008.
Wow.
So I've been riding with Triumph for a long time. The one thing I say is in this, I always got to look at things from a couple of different hats. My heart is always there, right? I have relationships with all candidates, with the majority of them.
Yeah.
I work, and have seen candidate council president Mary Sheffield grow from, where she was in 2013 to now being the city council president. I came in 2009 in city council with Santil Jenkins. I currently work with Fred Durhall, who's on my planning and economic development committee. And, it's just, James Craig worked with him as well. So you got all these relationships. I'm staying out of the race, right now, letting everyone have their conversations with the community. I know where I'm going to vote. I believe that we absolutely need strong leadership, need leadership that is going to continue a lot of the things that we've been doing thus far, because we've been able to turn the city in a much more positive direction, but still have a long way to go before we can plant the flag of victory. And that's what I'm hopeful that this next individual who takes the office of mayor in the city of Detroit is going to be able to do.
Now, stating you have all those different relationships with all the different candidates, and those are real relationships. Yeah. Those are genuine relationships. Those are authentic relationships. Yeah. Do you find it difficult for you as a leader, as someone that you're going to eventually have to work with, whoever that person will be, to, I guess, cast your vote?
So casting my vote is the responsibility that I have as a responsible citizen of the city of Detroit, right? I'm going to do that. It's just a matter of, am I trying to get out and convince others to vote for the person that I'm going to vote for? I'm going to leave that to the candidates. There have been, when you talk to them, every night there's like a candidate forum that's taking place. Mm-hmm. I have, I host currently 3 community meetings every month. Been doing it for 13 years now on a consistent basis. And so at the meeting that I have that's on every 4th Saturday of the month, called the District 1 Monthly Meeting, I hosted the 5 mayoral candidates. Mm-hmm. That was last month. We're going to have 4 others coming. As a matter of fact, this next Saturday. So try to educate the community, give them an opportunity to gain information, to have one-on-one communication. Mm-hmm. But I kind of step back in terms of trying to tell people who to vote for. I think this is a critical time that, it's not about my voice. It's about what you're hearing, what you're seeing from the candidates, and where we are, currently right now in history. Listen to them, ask them questions. If you have candidates who's not willing to respond to you, maybe that's an answer. You know, maybe their non-answer is an answer.
Yeah.
Right. You have candidates who are evasive in answering questions. You're getting the response. You have candidates who have no clue whatsoever on what they're doing, you might have a relationship with them, but you have to really make sure that you're making the decision that's best for the city and not just best for your so-called relationship. Because we all, like I said, we all got relationships with everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you made a comment and said, well, you have a candidate that don't respond. Well, maybe then that person is not. And I always say, you cannot not communicate.
Yeah.
If you've called me 50 times and I don't answer, what am I communicating?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
Very loudly. Very loudly.
So what do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, so I will say this. Now, here's the caveat.
Okay.
So as a council member that's been in office now for 15 years, God bless, right? For 15 years, sometimes the call doesn't come to me. Right? It falls through the cracks.
Yeah.
It happens because the sheer volume and your capacity.
Yeah.
So, you got to give somebody grace.
Absolutely.
Right? You got to give them grace.
100%.
But then be persistent. And that's with everything. And that's where I am with this world of government and politics. I'm doing everything I can to try to get some of our younger folks out to just get involved in the community.
Yeah.
Forget the political stuff first, right? Because when you start talking politics, you're asking folks, especially those who don't vote and get involved, you're asking them to vote for somebody, for a system who's part of a system that they don't trust. So they're either going to go eeny, meeny, miny, more, ask you who they're going to vote for, but they don't care about the issues or how that particular individual is going to transform that particular challenge. So for me, it's always a matter of trying to get folks to understand what's happening in the community. So we're always working on educating our community on what's going on and getting their feedback and engaging.
I'm so glad. I didn't mean to cut you off, but Pro Tem, I'm so glad you said educating, because I'm born and raised in the city of Detroit, and we have a bad habit of just voting for the name we recognize the most. Yeah. We are uneducated overall. Not all of us, but when it comes to voting and putting people in leadership in city government, we go off of like a name. Whoever name that we recognize the most, we don't know what their platform is. We don't know what their history is. We not fully even confident that they are prepared to lead us into the next level of economic success, of collaborative effort, building, growing, empowering, entrepreneurship program, none of that. But we recognize their name. We've seen them on billboards. We heard them on the radio. We're going to vote for them.
Yeah. It's frustrating when you have candidates who are strong, who really can make a really transform, use that word again, transform that situation that you have in your heart and motivate folks, but they don't have the funds. They don't have the connectivity, the resources, so to speak. But going back to what you said about people who, we vote for name recognition. Yeah. We're not the only ones who do that. Remember, we had a president of the United States who was an actor. And I'm going back to Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
He was an actor.
For sure.
But he was
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He was a governor.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Right?
You're right.
So we're not the only one. So I think that's what voters do, period. So I think that's what people do.
Yeah.
People vote for and I think people are connected or find a way to connect with those who they have something that they connect with, right? And sometimes it's only a name. I know that name. I don't know these people. Sometimes I know their work. What's such and such? What he did? What? So once you tell them that thing that they did, now they all in their camp. Right? So I think it's about familiarity. We got somebody in the White House right now who I personally believe is the worst choice that we could have made as American citizens. But he got a lot of folks to follow him, and he said a lot of things that were very anti the morals and the values of the city of Detroit. And Detroiters, in my opinion, did the right thing. And they knew that name. And overwhelmingly, the residents of the city of Detroit rejected that agenda.
Yeah.
So, we got to look at the good and bad, right? So they knew that name, but overwhelmingly, that name was rejected, and I'm glad that they did that. So for me, it's not so much. I'm not going to put anybody down. Now, listen, how do we get you closer to the government that serves you or supposed to serve you? Because we'll have a meeting. I'll tell you this: we have a meeting, and we'll have the same folks who show up over and over and over again. And these are the ones who are making the decisions when you talk about community engagement.
Yeah.
And we're looking for some of these younger folks. When I say younger, I'm not talking about teens and 20s only. I'm talking 40 and under.
Yeah.
When you go to these community groups and associations, all gray hair, now including mine, right? All gray hair in the room. And when you have a young person to show up, man, it's almost like a ticker tape parade. They're ready for them to get involved. And a lot of young folks don't recognize that we're waiting for you to step up. We're waiting for you to come into the room. But you got to actually commit. That don't mean you got to commit, 24 hours, 7 days a week, but commit something. Commit to learning. Commit to helping move the organization. Commit to moving your neighborhood, your block, something. Stop saying, I'm too busy. Everybody got stuff. Yeah. Everybody got stuff. But what are you going to commit to that's going to actually make a difference in the community that you live in?
Yeah. Yeah. So you when you first ran for city council, I was an intricate part of your team and helping you to make sure that you not only run but win. And Shawnee.
Yeah.
Shawnee, God bless her memory, Shawnee.
Yes.
Shawnee Penn. She spearheaded a lot and made sure that, we won, like that was our intention, and we did. You used to always tell this story when we used to go out to places and speak about how I think this when you was with the police department and you showed up on the scene, you wanted to be the first one on the scene, and then you got to the scene and then you was like kind of beating your chest and you realized it was someone had passed, there was a family member. It's a story that you always told, and it captivated every time.
So no, this actually was before I was at the police department. This was when I worked. A lot of people don't know my background. So my background, I'm not, I was just talking earlier about, I wasn't in political science and history major and all. That wasn't my background. My background is radio, TV, film. And so that was my degree from Wayne State University, had an internship at Channel 7. And an intern there, and like every intern, you say, thank you very much, appreciate the opportunity, hope we see you, 2 years or 2 months, whatever. And they actually called me. They actually called me afterwards and offered me a job before I was graduating. Wow. I'm like geeked, because while my colleagues are looking for a job, here I am having a job saying, come on in. Now, I didn't pay a whole lot, but I'm now in the workforce.
Right.
Before I graduate. And so I'm working at Channel 7. And I worked my way up from an intern to an assignment desk editor. And an assignment desk editor is the one who sends the news reporters and the videographers out to their assignments. So we're like the news guy. So I ended up working as an assignment desk editor there at Channel 7 for about 5 years, and I actually earned an Emmy Award. The story is I ended up getting a tip call from a just random person who called and said there was a body in this house that was in like Livingston County. And so we were like right up against the 5 o'clock hour, and I'm calling and my producer, hey, we got a tip call. They're like, we too close. We'll just send a crew out there. I mean, Livingston County, we were in Southfield because I worked at Channel 7. And nobody wanted to, send some resources out there. Got another call. So I'm calling Livingston County Police. Hey, what's going on? James Tate calling from Channel 7. Nah. And they said some code words. When you're in that world,
Yeah.
It's going down.
Yeah.
It's going down. So I'm like, yo, we need to send a crew out there. They're like, we know what? We don't have, the time to do it. I said, we need to get the chopper. It was like, oh, it's like almost like a sitcom.
Yeah.
Everybody turn around, the chopper. Right? So we get the chopper coming out. So, and getting the chopper just up in the air is $800. So it better be something for real if you sending the chopper out there. So we sent the chopper out. Lo and behold, they had, tape all around the building. No, we were the only ones that had it. Breaking news, body suspected in this house, and we giving each other high fives. Yeah. So, long story short, ended up on my way home and got a phone call and learned that was my cousin dead inside of that house.
Wow.
And it was like, wow, man, this is real life. And I know it. I mean, and the positions that I've been in, I've always had to not so much suppress my feelings, but also kind of just put them aside and just deal with the moment, if you will. So, you know, my day when I was at Channel 7 was good when a lot of people's days were bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the reality. And then it hit me, it smacked me upside the head. And I realized that that wasn't necessarily the world that I wanted to be in, and ended up thankfully getting a life preserver thrown in my direction by my assistant news director who left, who was leaving. He said, you know, I'm leaving, going to the city of Detroit to be the communications coordinator. I want you to come with me. The communications director, and I want you to come with me as the communications coordinator. And I ended up leaving, going with him, working at the mayor's office. This is during the Kilpatrick administration. That was nice.
How was that?
It was nice because it was so much energy. The energy that was there, young, black, powerful.
It was vibrant.
Energy. I loved it, right? I didn't know anything about parties, wasn't about
Yeah,
anything,
right.
but just the energy in the office.
So you ain't see no freak offs or
I
nothing
ain't
like that?
see none of that. None of that. My name ain't on any document whatsoever, right? But it was cool just to be a part of it. And so I come into the office at 4 a.m, and I wouldn't leave until like 8:30, 9:30, because my job was to be there early.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it though, man. I loved it. And so when it all started, you know, crashing, it was just like, what?
Wow.
What's going on
Yeah.
here? You know.
So did the field change?
I ended up myself personally during that time, after going to being at the mayor's office, I ended up had the communications person, second deputy chief over the police department, ended up leaving, and they needed somebody to go over to the police department to deal with communications. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Tate, you the one. So I ended up going over there. They said they were going to bring me back to the mayor's office in 2 months. Well, you know,
Didn't happen. Yeah.
That's what happened when you're good at what you do. So I ended up working in the police department under Chief Ella Billy Cummings as the second deputy chief in charge of the Office of Public Information for 5 years.
How was that experience?
That was deep, man. I saw stuff there I was not prepared for. So I was a civilian walking around. You know, I got a badge, got a police title. You know, so you know I wasn't an officer, but I played one on TV.
You did. You did.
And I would tell people all the time, I'm not a police officer. This is the rank and the title that I have because I'm a civilian. So anytime you have a number in front of your title, that means you're a civilian. So
Okay.
I was second deputy chief. So I technically had the rank of like a actual commander.
Oh wow.
A commander. So it was cool being in a position to help tell the story of the police department. Because if you can think about it, at this time it is like 2006, 2007. So we weren't solving crimes, man. It was just bad news everywhere. Like I said, the way I got over to the police department, 9 people shot at the fireworks.
Yeah, I remember that.
9 people shot at the fireworks. That was what they called me over there to work through that situation. But ended up doing that job, loved it, because again, I could tell the story of the police department, try to give people some hope in the police, but also give the department an opportunity to tell its story, because there was a lot of good stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
They didn't care about that. It was all about, well, you know, we need to get, you know, this person's photo on camera so we can get them arrested. Yeah, we got to do that. But what about the 3 lives you saved 2 weeks ago, yesterday? Let's talk about that. And they never wanted to talk about it. So that was the hardest thing. So First 48, if you know that program, A&E, First 48 and Detroit SWAT, I brought them here.
Wow.
I brought them here because I wanted to show off the
good
work
stuff
that we actually do. They didn't all end the way we wanted it to. You know, we had, unfortunately, a young child who was killed during one of the raids when First 48 was filming. And, you know, we ushered them out of here. But overall, it was just an opportunity to showcase the work that the police department does. And, you know, I did that for 5 years, and I had folks who were saying, run for office. I didn't think that was going to be my pathway. And, you know, was blessed to have a strong team, right?
Yeah, a real strong team. Absolutely. Absolutely, real strong team.
And here we are now 15 years later.
Yeah, absolutely. And, man, I have had the privilege of having have relationships with various politicians on various levels, from senators to council people, and some of them, a lot of time when they talk, you can tell like they just politician. You don't feel the genuineness, you don't feel the connection. And from day one, since we met and since you ran for office, I felt that you were genuine and authentic, and that you really, really desired to not only make a change and create a change, but to be the change. Yeah. And so for you to continue to do at such a high level for so long, like like what, what keeps you going? Like, what is your drive? How do you sustain this?
What drives me is the fact that I've seen change. Right? It'd be one thing if I was on the hamster wheel and doing the same thing over, just running hard, not going anywhere. But when I came in, I remember we were twirling down the drain financially. Now we did have an emergency manager and a bankruptcy, and it was painful, and it's still painful, certainly for our retirees. But it gave us an opportunity to restructure our debt, and now we have real city services. But we didn't just allow the bankruptcy to happen. We started planning as well. So it's a real, when you start talking about the relationship between the mayor and council members, and us having to work together to actually move the city, that's real. That's real. We can beef all day long, and a lot of times I want to tell you, there's a lot of behind the scenes conversations that happen. And some of them, some people think, oh, behind the scenes. No, it's behind the scenes because some of them are real rough.
Yeah.
They're real rough. And there are some things that could be taken out of context. There's some things that, language-wise that get a little strong sometimes. But we get through that.
Right.
We get through it. That's the sausage being made. Now, that's the relationship between the mayor and the council. But with council itself, every decision that we make has to happen publicly. And that becomes, kind of pressure-filled at times, because there's some times that, we have things that are on the table that the heart and the mind doesn't always, feel the same about.
Yeah.
You'll look at something before you, and you'll see that on paper it looks great, checks all the boxes. But when you hear residents still not supportive and on the side of it, your heart is telling you, you got to go out and do either more engagement, you got to ask more questions, and some folks, they look at that tough decision, instead of them going back and trying to re-engage the community, they now become performative and start screaming and yelling and doing all this stuff to get people on their side, when you might just have to ask a few questions and tweak the thing in front of you, and it changes. But once you start doing all that, that posturing and jumping up and down, it goes nowhere. So sometimes that jumping up and down, that angry ride, that happens behind the scenes.
Okay.
I would say certainly more so on my level, because I'm known to be one that's even keeled, fair about it. But that's what you're supposed to see. That's what you're supposed to see.
Exactly.
When it's time, it's time.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
When it's time, it's time.
Exactly. So what do you foresee yourself in the future doing in terms of James Tate? This has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with council, government. What do you see yourself doing in the future in terms of James Tate?
So I've been blessed to, this is election season now, but I've been blessed to be in a position where we worked hard, and I got a strong team, have had strong teams up to this point, got a strong team now, killing the game, and we're running unopposed in this upcoming election.
Wow.
So,
they ain't even stepping up.
Well, things happen, them stars align, all that stuff, right? Yeah. But once again, with a strong team, be able to do stuff, because I can't do it by myself.
Definitely.
But it's got me to a point where it's not just about the election, it's about the work. So it allows me to continue to do the work. So I know when we talk about the future, I've got at least 4 more years.
Okay.
If it feels weird saying it now, right? Before the election, but 4 more to do that. That'll take me to 20 years in office, which again is a major.
Amazing.
I don't know, whatever I end up doing after, and I don't even know if that's going to be the end. It's really up to God and the community and my heart, my body, all that, my wife.
Yeah.
All of those folks are the ones that, all of those elements will dictate what happens professionally. But you see on my shirt here, I got my Protect Your Crown. This is our mental health.
I was going to ask you about that because I got a wrap.
Yeah.
A rap. I got a rap. I said, what is it? Hold on, man.
It's the thing.
Hold on. I said, why? Hey, he coming out with rap songs now. And then so all I gotta say is I definitely gotta be on a remix.
Well, you know, we got to hear a little something, you know.
Oh, okay. Hey, no problem.
You know, I like to say that, you know, we got a little fire behind it.
Yeah.
We got to match energy.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Yeah, no, it's fun. You know, again, these are layers, right? So people think when you're an elected official, politician, this is all you do. I'm a human being. You know, like I told you, my background is communication. So when I was younger, I was part of a rap group. We were the Aristocrats. We did a couple of songs. Didn't ever have anything, press any wax, anything like that. But we just had, you know, I had fun. I was a poet as well.
Nice.
Wrote short stories, did a couple of short films, and I want to get back into that world. Do a lot more of that because that fulfills me.
Yeah.
So I'll do a little bit of that, I know, in some capacity, but whatever it is, I always want to make sure that I want to continue to uplift mental health. And so we have the Protect Your Crown campaign. We kicked it off last year. We're supercharging it this year, have a phenomenal project manager in Mesa Bailey, making sure that we're out here in the community. I'm not an expert. I'm an advocate. I say it all day long. I don't have all the data. I can't tell all the words that got 12 letters in it. I can't pronounce them all, right? But I'm someone who understands the importance of an individual taking assessment of their mental health.
Right.
And I say that as not someone from the outside looking in, but someone who's along a journey myself, you know. And it took me a while to get to this point where I can even admit that admit in public that I'm on this journey, right? So for a lot of folks, me included, we keep it suppressed. And it shows its face at times when you don't want it to. So you're suppressing it only happens for so long. And when it shows, sometimes it shows at the wrong moment, right? Shows at the wrong moment. I'm someone, therapy, medication, I take time just away from things but it took me a while to, again, be able to say that publicly. I would say it with young folks and talk to them about mental health. But, you know, talking to adults, and especially in my line of work, a lot of folks try to weaponize it. You know, oh, you crazy, something wrong with you. Oh, you know, even when we rolled out this initiative, I'll get people calling in. So at City Council, we have what's called public comments. So public you have a right to address your council members. And so you get 2 minutes, 1 minute, minute 30, whatever. You get time to talk to your public officials about whatever you want to. And there were some who was going in on me about the mental health thing. You know, it's like, wow. So, but this is what keeps a lot of our folks in the shadows and not getting the assistance. And these are elders, unfortunately, who are calling in and saying this stuff. So it's personal to me. I am not ashamed anymore to talk about the journey that led me here, and going to do everything I can to try to continue to uplift the work of others, build partnerships, relationships. Over in District 1, we're going to have next year built a facility that's going to focus on, that's going to have beds for those who are going through mental health crises. And so we know that there's a mental health crisis in the city of Detroit, in the state of Michigan. When we see the things that happen in the city, and I'm not even just talking about the calls, mental health runs that the police department receives. I'm talking about these situations that end in violence. You have folks who are not taking care of their kids. You know, have these living in squalor where they're partying out, the kids live in squalor. All these things, man. There's a mental health nexus.
We just had that situation. What was it? That was in Pontiac, wasn't it?
It was one in Pontiac, but we've had them here. I mean, no matter where we go. I mean,
they're everywhere.
They're here.
Everywhere.
They're here. And there's varying levels of it, right?
Yeah.
Some of them make it to the news. Remember, the news guy.
Yeah, for
if I
sure.
don't put it on the news, it's not news.
It's not,
That don't mean it's not happening. So it's happening in all these different places. And when you see people just driving down the street throwing stuff out the window.
When I say that, when I say that, get on my listen. If I was a Detroit police officer, that would be my thing. Everybody that litter, I'm writing your ass a ticket. And I want to see you in court. And like that grinds my gears.
Yeah.
I'm like, That's like walking around your house and just throwing trash. Why would you do that? That's disgusting.
It is. But it's about we have to unlearn some bad things. We have to unlearn these traumatic things, right? And we can't put all these things on the same level. So when you have someone who experienced abuse as a child, and you have someone who was taught just throw stuff out the window, they're not on the same level, but it's from that same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's that same neighborhood of avoidance, that same neighborhood of deflection, same neighborhood of not taking responsibility, personal responsibility. That's a part of I think everybody's journey. If you don't have someone to show you how to do things properly, you're gonna mess up, and you're gonna continue to mess up, and you're gonna pass that down because you have not learned. So can't let folks off the hook. But I think we've got now a situation where generationally they have been taught bad habits. They've learned extremely bad morals and values and just passing it down. The pandemic didn't help, when you're separated from everybody. And just the climate of the world right now. Everybody just mad. Everybody just mad. And part of it starts at the top. Again, I go back to, I think the person in the White House right now is setting the tone for this country and is doing it in a way that is harmful, very harmful to our young people, because they're thinking that way is the way to win. It's the way to get over on folks. And it's just, to me personally, it's just not right.
Extremely harmful. And you got to ask yourself, how did that happen? How did we do that? We didn't learn from the first time. And I don't even put energy or give the breath to say their name. I say 47 because that's what number that they are. But I am
no. 45.
Yeah, 40. Yeah.
Right?
He's 47 now. We're 45. But and my thing is, how did 45 make it to become 47?
Yeah. Now, how the question also we have to ask is, how concerning and bad was 46? All right.
You got a
point.
point.
No 47 going. I'm in District 1. I'm not gonna get a 47 that's gonna run and beat me.
1,000% I agree.
All right. I'm just saying.
Yeah, real talk.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So all these are things that have to be investigated as we start to take apart what happened, but also how to make sure that, in my opinion, it doesn't happen again. Folks who are not part of the process, like I said, we can't just try to engage them around the time, election time. We got to engage them today. We got to engage them now, and that's and educate folks on what people do and who to reach out to. And it's hard. It's difficult because it's all these different layers. When you talk about just districts, right? You got a city council district, you got a Wayne County district, you got a state senate district, you got a state representative district, you got a congressional district, you got a senate district. I mean, you got all of these districts, but that's why I don't challenge you to learn it all. Just learn something.
Yeah.
Just learn something and get involved in something. Even if it's just, do you know who your block club captain is? Oh, you don't have one? Would you mind just volunteering, making some phone calls to people on your block about fill in the blank? Those are to me, that's how we move our community. It's not about trying to get somebody, we're going to rally them around this person. They need to make that decision. Just like this mayoral election, I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the information, give you the tools, and walk with you along the way. And then, prayerfully, you'll make the right decision.
Absolutely.
You'll make the right decision. Because don't come and try to tell me what to do. James Tate, don't tell me how to vote. Don't tell me who to vote for. Just give me the tools. I got this. So that's why I'm trying to hopefully arm more of our folks with that knowledge and that encouragement on how to learn more about the process.
What has been, and it's probably, the answer is probably it's always evolving, but what has been, or in your mind or in your thought, since becoming a member of Detroit City Council, your primary focus?